there are three answers to it. See if these sound familiar to you, if you've heard these things before. One person said, Tim, a speech is a presentation. Presentation. So in other words, it's basically shut up, watch the PowerPoint. Shut up, watch the PowerPoint. You know what I'm talking about? You've seen those speeches? As an entrepreneur, you probably go to a lot of pitches, you have those sort of speeches there. And you're expected to just shut up and just kind of watch whatever's on screen up there. And that's the whole presentation for hours and hours and hours. And that's basically what a speech is for some people. Another person said, no, Tim, it's not about that at all. A speech is much more a performance. Performance, right? Get people involved. So a speech is kind of like a circus. My goal up here is kind of keep you all entertained. It's like, here a German man, you hear the thing thrown up in the air. Watch the amazing, wonderful speaker perform in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, fantastic performance here. Right? Performance. Another person, no, not a presentation, not a performance. A speech is about convincing your audience of your point. Convincing your audience of your point, right? So what you do want to do is you tend to take the whole audience and just kind of cram them into that box you create. Get in there. This is my point. Believe. Believe. What I'm talking about. Convincing your audience. But several years ago, I learned that a speech was more than that. I learned a completely different way to look at speeches. And it transformed the way I approach speeches, transformed the way I approach speaking. And it all happened because I needed to give a speech. Had a speech coming up, wanted to figure out what the heck am I going to talk about. You've been in that situation before, trying to figure out what David knows what I'm talking about, trying to figure out what to talk about. So I go to my mentor, Bob. Now, you've been here for a while, you probably all know Bob. If you don't, he's a medium-height guy, blonde hair, been in Toastmasters forever, professional speaker. He's kind of the guy I go to for advice. You have a mentor? Some of you go to for advice, for help? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Martin. Yeah, exactly. Bob's my guy. So I go to Bob and say, Bob, I got a speech coming up, trying to figure out, should I do more of a presentation? Or should it be more of a performance? Or maybe I should convince the audience. I said, Tim, speech is not about presentation or performance or even convincing the audience. What are you talking about, Bob? I mean, that's kind of the choices. I mean, which one is it? You know, a speech has got to be about something like it. You're presenting something, you're performing something, you're convincing your audience. You know. No, speech is not about that at all. So, well, what the heck's a speech about anyway? That was when he told me something that surprised me. Something that just changed the way I looked at speaking. He said, Tim, a speech is simply a conversation with your audience. Speech is a conversation with your audience. Think about it. You're giving a speech. That's all you have to do. You have a conversation with the audience. Right now, you're looking at me like, Tim, you're an idiot. You can't have a conversation with the audience because so far I haven't said anything and I'm a member of the audience. Which is pretty much what I said to Bob. Bob, what the heck are you talking about? How can I get a conversation with my audience when they're not saying anything? Tim, think of it like this. When you say something, your audience thinks something in response. And as long as you get out of the way, there's a conversation back and forth. You say something, your audience thinks something. You say something, your audience thinks something. That's the conversation. So think about that. Right now, you might be thinking, Tim, you're an idiot. It makes no sense at all. You're a complete moron, a complete flaming idiot. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. Or you might be thinking, Tim, you're a genius. Your subliminal ability is surprising and amazing, inspiring and inspirational. Or maybe you're somewhere in between those two. But whatever it is, you're thinking something. Something's going through your mind. Something's going through your head. And it was that awareness that transformed my speaking. All of a sudden, instead of coming up here and trying to present something, show PowerPoint, death by PowerPoint, or perform something, or even convince people of something, started looking at it differently. All I have to do is to say something and get out of the way. Just talk with your audience. That's it. There's a conversation going on with your audience. And in fact, that's what Bob told me. So, Tim, all you have to do is talk with them. Talk with them. I started talking with my audience. And it changed the entire approach I did to speaking. Once I started talking to my audience, it wasn't as big a deal to get up there and do a speech. Because now, it was a conversation. I didn't have to do everything up here. I only had to do half the work. You do the other half. It's a lot simpler. A lot more fun for the audience. A lot more relaxing. But getting out of the way of the audience and simply talking with them. You get people engaged, you get them involved, because there is that speech going on. Now, you might be thinking, Tim, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. If a speech is a conversation, then does that mean the conversation is a speech? Yes. That's another reason why speech is so easy. You had a conversation with somebody before, right, Tawfiq?
Barely, yes.
Barely, yeah. Okay, so you can't get an word in edgewise, and that's the best conversation. You've been in those. But usually, you talk, they listen, they talk, you listen. There's just back and forth. And you do conversations all the time. So since you do conversations all the time, what's the big deal about a speech? It's just a conversation where the other side is silent. But even when the audience is silent, they can be very expressive. So let the audience have their say. So next time you get in a challenge or a situation, you got a speech coming up, you're not quite sure what to say, how to say it, where to say it, don't freak out, don't panic. All you got to do is remember, talk with them.